Straight ahead on 12 News, trying to grow the state of hockey.
I haven't seen too many kids that once they get on the ice say, I don't want to do it anymore.
The local efforts that aim to expand the sport. Plus, we meet a veteran uniquely positioned to connect other service members with jobs. But first, the latest on the investigation of a shooting outside the Brooklyn Center Foot Locker. 12 News starts right now. Hello and thanks for joining us. Brooklyn Center Police are stepping up patrols at the Shingle Creek Crossing shopping area.
The move comes after two men were shot on Saturday in the parking lot outside the Foot Locker store. Reporter Sonia Goins has the latest on the investigation.
I'm in a lot of Walmart. I heard gunfire near the AT&T business, people running.
Brooklyn Center Police say they got a phone call around 10 Saturday morning.
A male was hit. He's laying in the parking lot.
Saying there'd been a shooting outside the Foot Locker.
It was flooded with cops, and then they had the sheriff homicide department down here.
Witnesses say that two men were arguing inside the store. Things really escalated when the two got outside. That's when someone grabbed a gun and started shooting. Police haven't pinpointed who did the actual shooting. However, pink numbers can still be seen in the parking lot where the bullets landed.
All I heard was like 2-3 gunshots, and I just looked at Foot Locker, then I walked back into Walmart.
Jacob Colts had just walked out of the nearby Walmart when the gunfire erupted.
I mean, it's complete nonsense, really.
Sources say the argument might have been over the newly released Nike Air Jordans.
He was buying shoes with a friend, and then I guess someone stepped on his shoes, and then the shooting happened.
And y'all shooting and fighting over shoes. This materialistic stuff don't matter. You work hard, you can have anything, and it means nothing till you get something new.
Meanwhile, a vigil was held on Sunday to denounce the shooting.
We will not tolerate this in our community. We will not live in fear. We will not tolerate this in our homes. And it starts now. It has to stop.
Many folks held up signs calling for an end to the senseless violence.
Praying for those, Lord God, who just falling by the wayside, Lord God. We pray right now for peace.
Police were also on hand. They say this is an open and active investigation.
The detectives are continuing to follow some leads that we have. They're continuing to process quite a bit of evidence that we were able to recover.
In Brooklyn Center, Sonia Goins, 12 News.
Two men who were shot were taken to a local hospital. Police say they have non-life-threatening injuries.
Brooklyn Center Police are also investigating a burglary inside Wingstop at Shingle Creek Crossing. Police say the burglary happened between Saturday night and early Sunday morning. And there was some damage inside the store, and police did not say what was taken. Wingstop was back open on Monday.
A former Maple Grove High School teacher and assistant girls softball coach must register as a predatory offender for an incident with a student. Jessica Chase pleaded guilty to fourth-degree criminal sexual conduct. Court documents say she had sexual contact with and sent inappropriate messages to a 17-year-old student. Chase avoided prison time. Instead, she was sentenced to 3 years probation and must attend a sex offender treatment program.
A Plymouth group home that's been the subject of dozens of police calls over the past year will find out this week whether it can stay in the neighborhood. Genesis Group Homes operates a facility for adults with developmental disabilities. The company has a license to operate, but Plymouth officials discovered that since they're just renting the house, they don't have a license to operate a group home out of that specific property. Plymouth officials say they have received complaints from neighbors, and Tuesday night the City Council will weigh two options.
One of them is that we enforce our current ordinance and require them to move out and give them a specific time frame of when they have to move out. The second one is to amend our ordinances, and there's a number of different areas that would have to be looked at and amended that would allow them to stay but with a rental license.
Plymouth police say in the past year they've responded to 67 calls for service at the home.
Minnesotans are remembering former First Lady Nancy Reagan, who died on Sunday. Former Minnesota Senator Rudy Boschwitz, who lives in Plymouth, says she managed details that allowed President Reagan to take care of what was important.
She made things work. She made the White House work. And she allowed and was responsible for Ronald Reagan's focus and for many of his achievements.
Boschwitz was U.S. Senator the entire time the Reagans were in the White House. He says he had about 75 meetings with the president during that time and said Nancy served as sort of the president's protector.
She protected him so that he was not overscheduled. She protected him so that they didn't take him traveling through the night. She protected him in so many ways that he was able to achieve so much.
Governor Dayton has ordered flags across Minnesota to fly at half-staff until Nancy Reagan's funeral, which is scheduled for Friday. Well, after another thrilling state high school hockey tournament, interest in the sport is especially high.
Nationwide, there are more than 100,000 kids aged 8 and under playing at the Mite level, with Minnesota leading the country. The numbers are also up at the local level, which includes the North Metro Youth Hockey Association.
Now we get that story from Eric Nelson.
In Minnesota, there are more Mite hockey players than Lakes.
Mite hockey is huge. That's our biggest level we've got.
In the land of Lakes, Mite skaters total 17,000, which is much higher than Minnesota's 11,842 lakes.
The ponds and the lakes, and it's easy just to find access to skate, and I think the cities, like the city of Brooklyn Park, obviously does a great job of having facilities and open skating rinks for the kids to participate in hockey and have fun.
The North Metro Youth Hockey Association has also seen a bump in Mite participation.
We're growing, and it's fun to keep growing, and you know, these kids love being at this rink. They love this facility. They love being part of North Metro.
There were 100 players in this season's program.
People like hockey here. It's you know, kind of part of our culture.
It's a good activity to do. They're getting exercise, they're playing with their friends, and they're happy.
One reason North Metro's Mite numbers are up is because they have figured out a way to keep costs down.
This year was even better because we got to work with a program through Total Hockey, which gives the kids full gear, stick, and everything except for skates.
North Metro has also been proactive in selling the sport to kids.
This year also what helped out is we got a big group of people to show up to the Tater Days parade and hand out a lot of stuff and kind of get the name out as well.
The effort is paying off. Mite hockey is now a cool thing for kids to be part of.
I haven't seen too many kids that once they get on the ice say, I don't want to do it anymore.
When you add it all up, Minnesota accounts for just 1.7% of the entire U.S. population. But 17% of the Mite hockey players play right here in the state of hockey. In Brooklyn Park, I'm Eric Nelson, Channel 12 News.
There are also plenty of girls playing Mite hockey. Last year, 3,900 played, setting a new Minnesota Mite record. New Hope's Northwood Park is set to receive a nearly $2 million facelift. City Council approved a plan to improve the water quality of Northwood Lake by redirecting and treating stormwater from a drainage area north of the park. The redirected water will then be used to irrigate the athletic fields. The project also includes improvements to the trails and playground equipment. The work will begin in early spring and continue throughout the summer. Coming up, the right guide to help veterans find a job.
And then a little bit later in sports, Wayzata celebrates its first state hockey championship. We hear from the Trojans.
But first, weather that feels more like April. Temperatures on Tuesday will be in the lower 60s. There are currently 400,000 veterans in the state of Minnesota and 20,000 active service members. Despite their service, finding employment outside the military can sometimes be a challenge. In this week's Business Matters, Alexandra sits down with an Iraqi war veteran now working in the corporate world and helping to bridge the gap between employers and veterans.
He may not have known it at the time, but when Marine Corps reservist Avery Harrington was deployed to Iraq in 2003, it would be his service supporting Operation Iraqi Freedom that would suit him perfectly for the corporate job he has today with Blue Cross Blue Shield of Minnesota. Working in IT project management for a company that was recently honored with the Beyond the Yellow Ribbon distinction, Harrington chairs the company's Veterans Employee Resource Group. In his job, Harrington helps businesses understand the skill set that veterans bring to the workplace.
The top 3 skills and abilities that veterans bring to any company, I would say, are respect, accountability, and courage. respect of everyone in the organization, accountability for their actions, and courage not only to do the right thing under pressure, but the right thing in general.
And how best for veterans to convey those abilities and skills, say on a resume or perhaps in a brief meeting with a prospective employer, because they don't always translate to maybe what the skill set that the employer is looking for.
Yeah, it's a great question. I would say the easiest way to translate those skills are in person. So network as much as you possibly can, and always tell stories that relate back to those skills of respect, accountability, and courage.
And what would you say is the best way that employers and veterans can bridge kind of that knowledge gap that exists between an employer looking for qualified candidates and a skilled veteran needing employment?
Definitely. The larger the organization, the more likely there are veterans working there already. So find someone in your organization who has that background and skill, and they can be your translator. Otherwise, ask for help. There are plenty of resources and organizations in Minnesota that are willing and want to help out in this endeavor.
And they might be able to explain that just a little further in 10 seconds here that we have left. How best to convey that?
Yep. What you'll find is someone who would translate those skills and experience on the resume to the corporate world.
Iraqi veteran and now employed by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Minnesota, Avery Harrington, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me.
There is a Veterans Job Fair coming up in April in Minneapolis, and for more information you can visit our website, that is 12.tv. Coming up, a sweet way to celebrate spring, but first, highlights from a wild second half of basketball as Osseo and Park Center meet in the Section Girls Playoffs. John Jacobson has sports next. Well, here's a lesson for hockey players everywhere, especially in a championship game. Don't give up. And it paid off for Wayzata.
Right, down a couple of goals the second period. They're playing shorthanded, and in the end, they come up winners and state champs. Wayzata boys hockey team won 10 of its last 12 games to reach the state tournament for the first time in 3 years. The Trojans made the most of their time in St. Paul, too. After beating Burnsville and Stillwater, the Trojans met conference rival Eden Prairie in the state of AA final before over 19,000 fans at the XL Energy Center. Grant Anderson to Jack Carlson. He scores 1-0 on a power play goal for Wayzata. Eden Prairie answers. Point shot hits traffic. Casey Middlestad flips it over. Alex Schillings patted in. Great tournament for Middlestad, and it's 1-1 after one period of play. Second period, Michael Graham on the rush for EP. He rings it off the pipe and in to make it 2-1 Eagles. They'd add another to lead 3-1. Wayzata responds on a shorthanded 2-on-1. Luke Patterson to Billy Duma for the goal. That's a big one. The Trojans pulled it within 3-2. Colin Kabinski, nice pass. Matt Nelson converts. Game is tied 3-3 heading into the third. Defenseman Logan Lindstrand threads this shot through traffic to give the Trojans a 4-3 lead in the third. They add an empty netter late. Wayzata rallies to win its first state hockey title 5-3.
It's a huge accomplishment for the school and the city and our team, and it's unbelievable to say you're a state champ.
I've known some of these kids, coached them in AAA hockey and in skill development since they were squirts, so it's pretty fun for me to watch them celebrate like that on the ice in front of their families and stuff like that, so that was cool.
Section finals are this week in high school girls basketball. In Section 5 4A, 2 exciting semifinals were played on Saturday, including Osseo and Park Center meeting for a third time this season. Pirates junior Michaela Hayes works her way inside and scores 2. Park Center got a 10-6 first half lead. Mina Port scores a 3 for Osseo, and the teams go to halftime tied at 20. Much better play in the second half of this one. Ari Jones with a couple of early threes to make it 32-28 Osseo. And Simonette on fire in the second half. The Pirates junior with a 3 here gives Park Center the lead back by 2. Michaela Hamola had a big game for the Orioles. She scored 3 of her 19 points there. Simonette made 5 3-pointers in the second half for Park Center. This one puts the Pirates up 8 at 52-44. But Osseo keeps it close, and Kiara Russell makes 2 free throws with 1:17 to go. And the Orioles are up by 1. Under 30 seconds to go in this one. Osseo Iobamadelli will bank in a corner 3, giving Park Center the lead for good. Pirates score the game's final 5 points late, and they pull out a 57-53 win over Osseo. The other semifinal, Champlin Park beat Roseville 50-47. Hannah Crimble and Erica Hicks had 16 points each for the Rebels. Champlin Park and Park Center play in the section final Thursday night at 7 at Anoka High School. In Section 8-4A, Maple Grove fell to Elk River in the semifinals. 53-49 Elks was the final. They'll play St. Michael Albertville in that section championship. In Section 6-4A, two Plymouth-based schools matched up in the semifinals. Second seed Wayzata meeting third seed Armstrong. Masengo Mutanda takes this one all the way for the Falcons. They trail by 3 late in the first half. Hannah Hiring with a three-pointer from the wing here for the Trojans. She scores 16 points. Wayzata's up by 9 at halftime. Second half, it's Hannah Bachmeyer driving from the wing to score on the layup. Falcons stay close. Cameron Hay had a big game for the Trojans. She'll turn and score in the lane here to put her team up by 3. And then Hay goes baseline, misses, fights for the rebound though, puts it up and in. She had 18 points in the game. Mutanda, talented freshman for Armstrong, scored 23 points. That bucket brings Armstrong to within a point. But the Trojans hold their lead. Annie Robertson drives and scores. And Wayzata pulls out a 70-61 win. Top seed Hopkins had no problem with Cooper in the other semifinal, winning 80-45. Wayzata meets Hopkins for the section championship Tuesday at 7 o'clock at Roosevelt High School in Minneapolis. The Royals won both regular season meetings with the Trojans. We'll have a look ahead to the state boys basketball tournament Tuesday starting at 4 on 12 News.
Okay, thanks a lot, John. Coming up in a fast-paced world, something that forces us to slow down.
Enjoying one of the best parts of spring when we come back.
And finally, tasting one of nature's simple pleasures.
Eastman Nature Center started its maple syruping season. It is a kickoff to spring. They may have to act fast, however, given the suddenly warmer temperatures. Minnesota weather makes maple syruping unpredictable.
We typically do maple syruping right around the beginning of March. Mother Nature plays tricks every now and again, so yes, we could have started a little bit sooner, but we don't know what to expect this year. It could be a compressed season. We could get odd temperatures and have a lengthy season. I'd say no two maple syrup seasons have ever been the same.
And you can taste this year's sweetness on Saturday, March 19th. That's when Eastman Nature Center will host a maple syrup festival. You can see the kids love it.
Yes.
They can't taste that yet, but they will in a week or so.
That's right.
That's it for now. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
We'll see you back here tomorrow.